Thank you, Alice. We're in a climate emergency. Last week, the UK government committed to zero carbon by 2015, and radical changes are needed in the next 10 years. Older buildings are at particular risk from the effects of climate change, and ill-considered measures to tackle it. And here are just some of the issues involved. One of the big things is that older buildings are too often seen as obstacles to tackling climate change. If, as I believe, we collectively need to be part of the solution, then we have to turn this around. This guidance note, which is in your packs, aims to give you the ammunition to help with this. It's web-based, and I urge you to go to the toolbox version because you will find a whole set of live links. In fact, half the document is live links to other things. It focuses on challenges. It doesn't cover much on adaptation for resilience. It's mainly about mitigation, and it doesn't cover renewable energy, which we'll come on to momentarily later. So I'm just going to touch on a few key things that are in it. Number 2 is a key piece of research commissioned by the government from BRE on solid walls. This is the only bit that's published that really raises the issues. I do urge you to have a look. It's published by the government, but they wish it hadn't been published by them, I think. 6 and 7, sector lead bodies advice, England and Scotland. These ones are all from the STBA, the Sustainable Traditional Buildings Alliance, which brings together heritage, sustainability and industry, and looks at the whole building approach that's been mentioned a bit already. Bristolian's Guide to Solid Wall Insulation, well worth having a look at. It's more than it says on the tin. It covers all aspects. This is what it was commissioned as. It'd be great if something like this could be rolled out across the country. PSEN 15978, we've had in place but just not used a whole life cycle approach to construction works. It's there if only available to use. But what is great, number 19, is that Robin Pender diagram for English heritage you've seen already, that is now reproduced in the government's guidance to private sector landlords. But we're confronting an issue where large amounts of money and carbon have been wasted on failed retrofits. The left-hand one is from a slide set by Colin King at BRE. 1920s buildings, they were damper after the retrofit than before. And the right-hand one is the most horrific case up in Preston, where millions of pounds are having to be spent undoing failed retrofits. What we do cover is the current government strategies, 2018, the Clean Growth Strategy, which sets out targets that we're working to now, and the Waste Strategy, which does welcome bringing the idea of the circular economy. How many have heard of the circular economy here? A good proportion. I hope you will all take this up. But the key thing, and this is what's guiding what's happening now, is the Committee on Climate Change. They were set up officially as a watchdog under the Climate Change Act 2008. And there's a vital series of reports produced earlier this year. And it's their challenge which has led the government to commit to a net zero target. What we've not yet seen is how that filters through into the government's own measures. And one thing I'll just draw your attention to is that the Climate Change Committee are focusing on heat pumps as something very significant, and that's going to be a very big challenge for us to tackle. So, immediate things to look out for, forthcoming consultations. Private rented sector trajectory to 2030. There have been a series of workshops. There's one in Manchester coming up on the 10th. There's a webinar on the 11th. And then there'll be a consultation later on this year. There's a review of Part L of the building regs later on this year, where we risk losing a special consideration for historic buildings. And Heritage Counts this year is going to be on understanding carbon in the historic environment. If anybody's got good case studies of the use of carbon over the whole life of a historic building, pre-retrofit and after, those case studies desperately needed. And just quickly, what's not free online, BS 7913 and past 2035. And John, where are you? Straight over to you.
Thank you, John. Right, I took 40 minutes to do this last night, so I'm going to do it in 2 minutes now, so I'm only going to give you an overview. As far as the retrofit guidance which I've written, which is on retrofitting buildings, it's just a framework, it's just an outline of the way we should be retrofitting buildings. It contains a process. And it's largely built, or largely based upon BS 7913. And BS 7913 is, of course, about taking an holistic approach to everything we do concerning traditional and historic buildings. There's something else that John just mentioned as well. Past 2035 is something I have been involved with. One of very few people, less than a handful of people in fact, there was only 2 of us in the heritage sector involved in the development of this, even though there's 50 odd people involved. And I think we've done quite well to get it recognised that traditional buildings are different. It isn't about an holistic approach, it is just about retrofit, but it does include reference to BS 7913. And for a small number of roles, in some circumstances, there is a requirement to do the level 3 award in the retrofit and energy efficiency of traditional buildings. And there's also a requirement for designers in certain risk categories to be conservation accredited or certified. So a lot of people are criticising this, but we're in a much better place than where we were a few months ago with this publication. And we're already looking at the review of this in the BSI Retrofit Standards Task Group, whereby I am the only heritage representative, but in the last meeting we talked about broadening out the criteria, or the scope I should say, to not just be about retrofit, but maintenance, repair, and also look at carbon as well. So if we can just come on to the retrofit guidance that we've written. It's largely based upon the articles you will see in the green edition of Context published in May of 2017. And it does take an holistic approach. It is based upon BS 7913, but it also takes some elements from PAS 2035, because there are some good bits in that which I've already explained. And it is looking at technical issues, but also significance issues as well. And one of the criticisms I've had of other guidance, if you like, even when it is focused on traditional buildings, it doesn't focus enough on the heritage values. Anyway, in the pack, you will see the guidance note, but I must say the online version has been updated a little since then. Thank you for listening.